Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Triple H might soon be confronted by former Evolution member Randy Orton, as the Viper is not clearly satisfied with SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis' response. This occurred on the recent episode of the Blue Brand show when Orton requested a match against Kevin Owens at Crown Jewel. However, his request was denied, with Aldis citing restrictions from higher authorities. In response, the Legend Killer responded that he knew where to take his concerns, hinting at approaching WWE's Chief Content Officer directly. This sets the stage for a potential face-to-face confrontation between Orton and Triple H on the upcoming episode of SmackDown. In this article, we will discuss 4 possible outcomes if Orton and Triple H come face-to-face on SmackDown this week. 4. The Viper might convince Triple H to lift Kevin Owens' suspension. One possible outcome is that the Apex Predator might convince the game to lift the suspension imposed on Kevin Owens. As former allies, Randy Orton likely knows better than anyone how to persuade the cerebral assassin. After this, Orton could demand a match against Owens at Crown Jewel 2024, which could be granted by the Chief Content Officer. This would lead to the inclusion of a 4th match on the card for this year's Saudi Arabia show. 3. Randy might RKO Nick Aldis in front of the game. Another possible scenario is that Orton might hit Nick Aldis with an RKO in front of the King of Kings to get his demands met. The WWE Universe has seen Randy strike authority figures in the past to get what he wants. This time, the Viper could decide to warn the CCO by hitting his signature RKO on the SmackDown General Manager. This could imply that if the game doesn't grant his request, he could be next. Orton might even continue delivering RKOs to Aldis until Triple H fulfills his demand. 2. The Legend Killer might strike the CCO. Randy Orton has never been afraid to hit an RKO on anyone, and Triple H could be the next victim if he frustrates the Legend Killer during their potential confrontation on SmackDown this week. This scenario could unfold if the game refuses to give Orton a match against Kevin Owens at Crown Jewel 2024. As a consequence, Orton might deliver a brutal RKO to the King of the Kings, sending a strong message to the authority figures who are denying him what he wants. This angle would generate a huge buzz among fans, as they would eagerly wonder what consequences Orton might face for attacking the Chief Content Officer directly. 1. Randy might threaten Triple H about leaving WWE. Randy Orton desperately wants a match against Kevin Owens at Crown Jewel 2024, and he's willing to go to any lengths to make it happen. If Orton and Triple H come face-to-face on the upcoming episode of SmackDown, the Viper might just threaten the game about leaving the Stamford-based promotion if his demand is not met. This would be a form of blackmail, as Orton could issue an ultimatum that if his demand isn't fulfilled within a certain time frame, he wouldn't hesitate to quit WWE. The single person whom he makes solely responsible for this outcome will then be Triple H. This week's episode of WWE SmackDown could be explosive if Randy Orton and Triple H come face-to-face, marking a moment that could shake the foundations of WWE. With Orton's rumored return and Triple H running things behind the scenes, there's a lot of tension, history, and potential for surprises. If the Viper crosses paths with the game, here are 4 things that could happen, including the possibility of Orton quitting WWE and an executive getting hit with an RKO. 1. Randy Orton threatens to quit WWE. Randy Orton has been a staple of WWE for over 2 decades. Orton, known for his unpredictability, might use his time on the mic to cut a scathing promo, calling out WWE management for sidelining him or forcing him into the shadows of rising stars. He could express dissatisfaction with his place on the roster, feeling overlooked for title opportunities or big matches. This tension would give his threat to walk away from WWE an air of legitimacy, sending waves of panic through the WWE universe. Triple H, playing the role of both authority figure and former friend, would have to tread carefully. He knows Orton's value, but he also has to maintain control over the roster. If Orton makes it clear he's ready to leave, it could set the stage for an emotional and highly charged confrontation that leaves fans on the edge of their seats. The tension could culminate in Triple H either finding a way to keep Orton on board or watching the Viper exit the ring, possibly for the last time. 2.an RKO out of nowhere on a top WWE executive. Randy Orton is known for his devastating RKO, a move that can strike at any moment. With Triple H in charge, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Orton delivers an RKO to a top WWE executive during their face-off on SmackDown. Whether it's Triple H himself or another high-ranking official, such a move would send a clear message: Orton is not to be messed with, and he's willing to destroy anyone in his path. Imagine the chaos if Orton's frustration reaches a boiling point, and instead of walking away, he decides to take matters into his own hands, literally. Triple H, always composed and calculating, might be expecting a verbal exchange or even a negotiation, but Orton could interrupt the moment with a sudden, violent RKO. The impact would not only physically stun whoever takes the move, but would also signal that Orton's days of playing by the rules are over. He's out for revenge, respect, and control over his destiny. In recent months, Triple H has been shown as a figure who demands loyalty, and for Orton, this might feel like a trap. Taking out an executive would be Orton's way of burning bridges and setting the stage for a darker, more menacing version of himself. 3. Triple H tries to convince Randy Orton to lead a new faction. Triple H is known for his love of factions, from D-Generation X to Evolution. If he senses Orton is slipping away, he might try to use his powers of persuasion to keep him in WWE by offering him a new role, leading a dominant faction of young, hungry stars. The idea would be to re-energize Orton's career by positioning him as the veteran guiding the next generation, much like he did when he was the youngest member of Evolution under Triple H's mentorship. Triple H might pitch Orton a vision, the Viper leading a group of ruthless, up-and-coming stars who share his disdain for WWE's corporate structure and current main event scene. This could spark interest in Orton, who thrives on competition and the opportunity to mentor while staying in the spotlight. The appeal of leading a faction would play into Orton's love of power and control, elements that have been core to his character over the years. But Orton could counter this offer by reminding Triple H of the failures of past factions like the Authority or the Legacy, which fell apart due to betrayal and egos. He might scoff at the idea of playing Triple H's game again, showing that the Viper has outgrown such manipulations. If this idea does come up, the conversation could quickly turn hostile, with Orton rejecting the offer in a venomous fashion, laying the groundwork for his exit or an attack. 4. A WrestleMania showdown teased between Randy Orton and Triple H. Every wrestling fan knows the history between Orton and Triple H.